All right, good afternoon, and thanks for joining the Department of Defense OIB Modernization Challenge informational webinar. I'm Jason Thomas, Portfolio Coordinator here with America Makes, and I'll be joined today by Aaron Sasson, who's a DoD Manufacturing Innovation Institute Senior Program Manager. Aaron's going to go over a little bit about what the organic industrial base is, and then I'll go get into some of the more programmatic topics, such as submission, budget, and topic areas. So Aaron, you want to go ahead and get us started and talk a little bit about the organic industrial base?
Yeah, great. Thanks so much, Jason. I appreciate the opportunity to talk with you all today. This is a topic that's near and dear to my heart. So in a nutshell, if you go out and you buy a Toyota, right, you drive your Toyota and then all of a sudden it breaks down, you don't necessarily take that car back to Toyota. Sometimes you take it to Joe's garage, or if you're really good, you fix it yourself. That's the organic industrial base. We fix it ourselves. And so in the Department of Defense, we don't make a lot of things, although there will be exceptions that I'll talk about. What we do is we buy things, but then we are responsible for maintaining and sustaining them. And we do that through the organic industrial base. They're government-owned facilities, sometimes operated by contractors, sometimes operated by the government employees themselves, where we produce, store, and dispose of equipment, weapon systems, munitions, et cetera. It's also what you would consider the repair cycle. So as things come off of tanks and ships and airplanes, they are not just thrown away. They are sent back to our organic industrial base, repaired, and then put back into the supply chain. The organic industrial base is not service agnostic. Each service owns its own. The Air Force has only 3 locations. The Army has 23, and then the Marines and Navy have varying degrees thereof, as well as the Defense Logistics Agency. You've commonly heard it called depots, arsenals, and shipyards. Each has its own connotation. But if you could go to the next slide, please, Jason. We'll get into the details of those here in the next slide after this. So why are we focusing on this? Well, it's quite frankly because the industrial base is old and it's in some cases decrepit and it has not been kept up. Through years of war, funding, as you all know, is limited from Congress. And so what happens is the dollars are prioritized, and something that looks like a building or a future capability for the last 20 years, especially during the global war on terrorism, didn't get the priority it needed. And so now what you see is, as General Daly, the former commander of Army Materiel Command, quotes, that we're working with a 21st century Army with a 20th century industrial base. And to be frankly honest with you, in many cases, even a 20th century industrial base is generous because we have facilities that date back to the late 1700s in some cases. And so to get proper attention on that, Congress mandated some significant investment on behalf of the DoD. Next slide, please. And so, as I mentioned earlier, each service has its own. However, what I'm going to show you are snippets from the Army Organic Industrial Base Modernization Task Force. The reason I'm doing this is twofold. One, because the Army is the largest and most complex segment of the OIB. And 2, they also have the most mature effort regarding modernization. And so I would just ask for the next 4 or 5 slides that you recognize we are not only talking about an Army problem, but I'm using the Army slides as a case study to demonstrate to you some of the challenges that are universally applicable across all the services. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is what the Army's organic industrial base looks like. You'll notice it's 23 locations. They have an average age of 80 years, although some of them are more recent, which of course by mathematics tells you that some go back even further. I believe Watervliet Arsenal, where they make cannons, is the same place that they were using to make cannons in the Revolutionary War. So to give you some perspective on the challenges we deal with. I'd also draw your attention to the total employees here for the Army. That's 26,000 and change over 23 sites. So mathematically, it tells you that each location is give or take around 1,000 people or a little more than that. For some perspective, the Air Force only has 3 organic industrial base sites, but each of those employs between 7,000 and 10,000 people. So in this total scheme of things, you're still looking at a similar size of effort, but the Army's, as a case study, is much more disparate, whereas the Air Force's is much more concentrated. Next slide, please. Okay, so how is the Army attacking its challenge? I won't get into all the details of this, but essentially what I'll draw your eyes to is the column just one from the left, and they have what they call LOEs, lines of effort. And so they have lines of effort, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you'll see facilities, tooling, workforce, cyber, and energy and environment. And then across the top in the black bars, you'll see the phase. And so they've got this programmed out through FY28 in phase 1, through 33 in phase 2, and then through 38 in phase 3. And the significance of that is, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of you think in terms of industry. Oh, well, here's what we need to be industry 4.0 or 4.0 plus. Let's go ahead and do that. And the Army's response to you is, I have buildings that were built before electricity was in buildings. I can't go ahead and modernize to 2024 standards when I'm still working on 1940 standards. And so they need to phase some of this out. And so some of you may have some great ideas that we absolutely want to do, but we're just not ready for it yet because we still have to fix the plumbing in the building and the electrical in the building before we can worry about modernizing to the next level. So that just gives you some perspective on the challenges we face. Next slide. This is the Air Forces. I'm not going to talk in detail about it. It's the same idea and the same blueprint. The only reason I included this slide was to draw your attention to the 5 dimensions on the left. And you'll notice that they differ from the Army's. Still the same general flavor, but it gives you an appreciation for the fact that everybody is addressing their organic industrial base their own way. And they're center mass about the same ideas, but they do have different specific targets that they're looking to get. Next slide, please. Okay, so what has the Army self-identified as its SWOT analysis? I won't even talk to you about strengths and threats, but we will look at the weaknesses and the opportunities. Again, these are the Army's words, it's the Army's slides, but to give you an understanding and appreciation of the things that for today are the things that they recognize are the near targets. They don't have the ability to produce or repair microelectronics in many cases. They are worried about what you would consider traditional foundry skills. They definitely have concerns about foreign material sources. Again, not all these are things that may apply to the audience on the line today, but it's still what the Army is worried about. Cyber resiliency and integrated control networks are huge for them. And then human capital is a big deal. One of the things that we'll talk about, or if you've already read the project call, is something that we're coining the virtual artisan. And that's important because artisans have been working manually for many years. And how do we harness that talent so when the workforce ages out and retires, we don't lose the corporate knowledge? And so what are some of those opportunities in the lower left quadrant here? Again, they're very much related to the weaknesses. If these are the things that we're weak on, then the opportunities specifically address the fact that this is what we need to improve. And clearly, integration of cyber and ICNs are something that they're looking at across the entire Army organic industrial base. Next slide, please. Okay, and so that is the 6-minute overview on the Defense Department organic industrial base. I could talk for days and days about it, but I just wanted to orient you to the high level of what is it, what are the challenges we face, and why we're facing them. And then I will now turn it back over to Jason to walk through the project call itself, but I'm certainly available to answer questions as we go through. Thank you, Jason. Over to you.
All right, thanks, Aaron. Great information. All right, just a couple of things I wanted to mention. I forgot to mention at the beginning. There will be a Q&A session at the end of the webinar here today. So if you do have questions, please enter them in the chat, and Aaron and I will answer those to the best of our ability. I'm going to start off by going over I'm going to go over the project special topic areas. I'm not going to get into them really deeply. I would recommend you go to americamakes.us under our work and active project calls, download the RFP, and you can see all of the details there. But the first topic area is integrated hardware trackers to track worker, equipment, facility, tool, part movement, and condition, and software-controlled data solutions to provide prediction and health impact modeling to help implement Industry 4.0 through better time motion controls, capture of material, tool position, and environmental impact. Number 2 is improved technology to modernize manufacturing processes. 3 is digitization to combat part orphaning, including the use of AI ML to get a design model of legacy parts to allow for design updates, reimaging, including use of vision scanning, AR and VR systems when no technical data packages are available for components or subsystems. Number 4 is qualification or certification of technology and processes for part production using data rather than testing.
Jason, can I
Number
interrupt?
5 is digitization of the shop floor, which may include uniquely or support digital twin efforts, including digitization of assets and digitization of processes to support quality control and quality assurance of production, or digital and cybersecurity tools to improve processes and address challenges induced by air gaps between networks and production equipment. Moving on to number 6 is development of the workforce in pursuit of the virtual artisan, which Aaron just mentions, which could include a robust cybersecurity knowledge management tool to dynamically capture skills and technical knowledge of artisans from the aging workforce and identify ideal applications for such technologies. Technologies ideal for reskilling and retraining the workforce as labor becomes automated, including both short and long-term planning tools for managing human capital. And finally, user-friendly tools supportive of technicians and artisans that automate or streamline work and integrate digitized technical data manuals, operating instructions, and historical maintenance records. Number 7 is novel disposal and or recycling techniques or technologies to accommodate demilitarization of equipment and munitions. Topic 8 is manufacturing or automation equipment that can work in an intrinsically safe environment. Topic 9 is development of digital technical data packages in a framework that provides for standard format and interoperability between various services, equipment, and software. And then number 10 is an other. So this is a topic area where you may have an idea that we didn't list here, but you think that would be great and relevant to the organic industrial base modernization efforts, and we definitely want to see those ideas as well. All right, so moving on to a little bit of detail on the actual response. So this is a 2-step response. So in the first step, you're going to need to put together a concept paper and quad chart. And then step 2 will be by invitation only. There will be a down select after that step 1, and that will be a presentation submission. Like I said, there are 9 project special topic areas, and team members receiving government funding must be America Makes member. And then, and any information data outcomes should be firewalled from non-America Makes members.
Hey, Rachel.
That may
Megan
be
did, when I talked with her
suppliers
on the
or
101,
anything like
she
that on
did
the project.
ask that we kind of help do the
Could
SOPs
everybody
for all the
mute? I hear
equipment
some
in
background
the
noise
lab.
coming
So
through. I'm
there's
not
vacuum
sure
pump,
why that's
air
happening.
compressors, balance, those
One
funky
moment,
the
sorry.
funky little photon.
Thank you very much. All right, so here's an example of the concept paper, the quad chart down on the right left. And the concept paper structure will be 5-page maximum, excluding the title page. And you can see the RFP for additional details. There's a lot of information in there on how to build that concept paper and what needs to be included. And then, like I said, the concept paper must be accompanied by a concept quad chart, which you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, and that is able to be downloaded from americamakes.us. Okay, getting into some of the project metrics. So OSD requires that metrics be defined for each technology project that will be used to evaluate the progress in achieving the goals of the proposed project and the identified key process parameters. So some of these metrics will be performance, and it measures the characteristics of the entire advanced manufacturing systems, its components, or the execution of a manufacturing task. Productivity, the rate at which a manufacturing process is occurring. Efficiency, so that's the amount of time required to perform a manufacturing task, or the percentage of time spent in setup, calibration, transition, production, or other parts of that. Acquisition, so what's the initial cost for acquisition of the proposed system? And then sustaining costs. So, how much does it cost to sustain that with labor and or any other kind of metrics you can think about there. And once again, more detail about these project metrics can be found in the RFP. Okay, getting into the project call schedule. So we announced and posted the project call on November 6th. The supporting documents were released, and the website was also opened on the 6th. Today we're having our project kickoff webinar. Welcome once again. And then the deadline for team members receiving federal award funding and to be an America Makes member is 11/29. So if there is anybody who wants to be a member and would like to put in a white paper and quad chart for this call, you have to be America Makes member by 11/29. And you can find that information once again on americamakes.us under membership. The concept packet and submission deadline for your white paper and quad chart is on 11/29 at midnight, 11:59 p.m. And we are doing that through the link which you can find in the RFP. Invitations for the presentation phase will be released on 1/12. That's where we talked about there will be a down select, and then that will be that second phase. And then the presentation package submission deadline, and like once again, that is by invitation only after the down selection, will be on February 1st of 24. And then final selections will be released and subaward negotiations will begin on February 29th of 2024. The targeted project start date, we want to get started no later than June 3rd, and project should be completed by December 15th of 2024. Okay, getting into the funding overview. Should be just one moment. Okay, there will be 5 awards overall. Those are not all guaranteed to come from America Makes. That will be spread across the different institutes. But the total federal funding available for the whole call is $2,500,000. And the max federal award per proposal or per white paper is $450,000. Now, you will want to add a line item to your cost volume for America Makes project management for $50,000. And it is a requirement that America Makes be one of the members of your project to handle project management at a minimum. Cost share is not required, but it will be reviewed very favorably if it is proposed. And the maximum allowed period of performance will be a total of 6 months. That'll be broken down into 5 months of technical execution and then 1 month for reporting. There will be no extensions considered on this project. Okay, project minimum deliverables and reporting. So there is a kickoff meeting that needs to happen no later than 1 month after award. Technical progress reports via PowerPoint will be handled monthly, and there's a template available for that. Virtual project update meetings with the NCDM PM to accompany those PowerPoints will also be monthly, and financial and man-hour reports need to be invoicing needs to be done monthly. And then a written final report is due at the end of the period of performance with a minimum of 1 round of review and revision with your NCDM MPM. Like I said, the draft is due at the beginning of month 5, and then the final will be due at the end of month 6. There will be a presentation by the project team at either an America Makes TRX, at an America Makes technical review and exchange, or by webinar, just to go over the outcomes of the work, and that will be no later than the end of the period of performance. Okay, getting into some of the project proposer eligibility. So like I said earlier, project teams must include America Makes as a team performer in their projects, and at a minimum, America Makes should perform project management. So like I said during our budget slide, you will want to add a line item in your cost proposal for America Makes for $50,000 to handle project management. All team members receiving federal award funding must be current members of America Makes and in good standing by November 29th, 2023. Like I said, information on how to join America Makes is available at americamakes.us under the membership tab. Cost share accrued in this project may be applied towards membership as with other project calls. However, like I said, non-members must be firewalled from any project activity. So someone may be able to be a supplier, but may not be an actual acting member of the project team, and they can build cost share that way. Non-America Makes members may not contribute to contract execution. And then each team must contain at least one industry organization who can deliver a system to a DoD acquisition organization and who can provide the use case that will guide the overall development and integration, conduct the final system demonstration in the operational environment, and provide the business rationale and economic justification for pursuing the development. So now team lead organizations will be evaluated on past program performance, overall programmatic experience and capabilities, and their overall capability for ultimately commercializing any technology developed. The lead proposer is fully responsible for all project and subcontract performance. The lead proposer shall be registered in U.S. System for Award Management, or SAM, and have a cage code and DUNS number before submitting a proposal. The proposal team does acknowledge that information from this project will be shared with America Makes members in accordance with the America Makes membership agreement. And proposal team arrangements are identified and relationships are fully disclosed in your white papers. Now, if a project will manage export controlled information or restricted material, foreign nationals will not be permitted to perform work under this project at lead proposer or any subrecipient facilities, remotely or otherwise. A little bit of proposal and contracting information. So this project will be contracted via the America Makes cooperative agreement with AFRL. There is no fee allowed, and all proposers are asked to inform Mr. Cole Miller at cole.miller@ncdmm of your intent to submit a concept paper and quad chart. So please just shoot Cole an email. Let him know that you do intend to submit a concept paper and quad chart, just so we can get a good idea of how many papers will be coming in. So we do our white paper review. We are ready with a team that can handle that. Okay, so this presentation will be available for download on americamakes.us. So we put a couple of additional resources on this slide for you. These are links to the project call landing page, proposal submission process, quad chart template, and score sheet. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the questions. And if you have not already and you do have questions, please enter them into the chat. And like I said, Aaron and I will do our best to answer your questions completely today. See if I can. All right, Aaron, are you with me? Just one moment while I try and get Aaron set up here for the Q&A. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the Q&A. Sorry about the delay. Okay, so how do we team with or involve depots, arsenals, and shipyards? Can they get funding through this opportunity, or would they just write letters of interest support with respect to testing and SME input? Let's see. So Aaron, you should be able to come off mute and help to answer the questions. Let's see. All right, I'm not sure if Aaron's having an issue with coming off mute, but yes, we do want to see a letter of support. They are not able to be funded directly through the CA. We cannot fund federal entities through the CA, but we do want to see a letter of support with your white paper. And like I said, we will be posting these questions to the website with more complete answers as soon as we can. Right. Let's see, is the presentation available? Yes, like I said, the presentation will be posted to americamakes.us under our work, open project calls, and you'll want to look for the OIB Modernization Challenge. There will be a section to the right, and we have all of the needed documents and links provided there, along with this presentation. All right. Will there actually be a verbal presentation or just slides submitted? So for this first round, it's just a white paper and a quad chart. I think once we get into the second phase, and if you are selecting a down select, there will be a presentation phase. And I believe that there will be a verbal presentation at that time if you're chosen after the down selection for phase 2. All right, can we submit more than one proposal? Yes, you are able to submit more than one proposal if you'd like to. Let's see, do you have membership fee rates for startups and small businesses? So we do have some programs that you can take advantage of. I would recommend that you go and onto the website and check out our membership link. We do have some programs that could help you out. And I see our membership coordinator, Lori, has posted some information in the chat. So Lori, thank you very much for that. All right, so let's see. The 50K to America Makes comes out of the 450K, leaving 400K to the rest of the project, correct? No. So you're going to want to propose at up to 450K, and then add an additional line item in your cost volume at 50K for America Makes, totaling 500. So I hope that answers your question. All right, are we able to propose to multiple topics listed? Absolutely, yes, you can propose to multiple topics. And I think that is covered in the RFP. Let's see. All right, moving on. Let's see. Let's see. With respect to the 10 topic, oh, where did that go? It was with respect to the 10 topic areas, are proposers expected to respond to one area or multiple areas? You can respond to one area or multiple areas if you wish. We don't expect you to propose to multiple areas if you just have an idea for one. All right, I think I already answered this one. So does the line item for America Makes come off the top, or should overhead be applied to that in the budget? So no, like I said, you will want to present, or you will want to propose at up to 450K, and then that 50K for America Makes will be added on top of that for a total of 500. Let's see, follow up to the OIB letter of support question. Do the OIBs need to be a part of America Makes? No, they do not have to call in, or they do not need to submit for membership. They are already members because they are federal entities. Is this RFP being offered through all of the institutes? I believe so. All right, and I think that takes care of all the questions. Like I said, if you do have additional questions, you can submit those to projectcall@americamakes.us, and we will get those all posted to the website for you as soon as possible. Let's see. And I think I see Lori put another link in here for with information on how to join America Makes. So if you need that, go ahead, take a look in the chat. Lori has posted that. And as I said earlier, this presentation and the slides will be posted to americamakes.us under open project calls, or under our work, open project calls, OIB Modernization Challenge. Thank you everyone for joining the webinar today, and have a great afternoon.